Hi guys, I'm Abysme. I'm here to show you my new supercarrier. This video is going to be the tour of my series of videos for this supercarrier. It's a pretty large ship, so let's go ahead and have a look at the outside here. We'll just dive right in. So this port that we're looking at here is one of the main airlocks. There's two. This is mirrored on either side, so there's two airlocks in the rear, and then there will be two airlocks in the front there. As you can see, the ship is kind of large. It's about 500 meters from front to back. Half a kilometer. Um, the outside is really heavily armored. We got and armed. It's got cannons all over it. We got pretty large armament here at the top and the middle, and then we also have these large turrets here with the railgun blocks. The new railguns are really nice. Using the custom turret blocks to control these. Um, it's got 7 of these large cannons and like 20 or 30 of these, each of these other kinds of cannons. We also have these little anti-air cannons that have been made with the custom turret blocks, and they're pretty nice. They shoot really fast, and it's good for shooting down little small ships or whatever. I've also got a few Gatling turrets on the thing, and these will be shooting down missiles and small ships, so these are also point defense turrets. So let's have a look at more at the outside. These little doors here on the outside are for launching fighters. Uh, they're only for fighters. Nothing else can really come out of them. Nothing else is really large enough. Um, Around the outside here, I really like the color scheme that I used with this. I love the little gold shiny parts that they have with this retro future armor. It's really cool looking. Um, got a few more Gatling turrets here. So I named this ship the Monarch. It is the Sovereign Class Supercarrier Monarch. That's the official designation for it. Around the front here we have um, the exit point for the main hangar here, and then these little doors on the side here are side hangars, like sub hangars for industrial ships. We also have a couple of docking points here and some more airlocks, and these docking points are for like another large ship that wants to dock and get some repairs or whatever. They can just dock right there and grab repairs, and then there's a shield on this side for protecting the ship while it's getting repairs. Say you're in the middle of a battle or whatever. And yeah, so on the top here and on the bottom we have these little doors. uh, these ones here on the side, these new door blocks, these ones hold a decoy projector, and that will automatically weld and eject a little cloud of decoys, and they're just dummy decoys, but they're small block decoys. And the idea behind that is that if there's like a small ship that's coming up to attack the ship, it'll automatically attack these decoys instead of the actual ship itself. Like they'll protect turrets and stuff, and that's really useful. We also have inside here we have a camera, and this camera is for locking on with the missiles, the torpedoes that we have here in the back. So these torpedoes use the wham and lamp script from Whiplash, and they'll automatically just launch and track a target and hit it, hopefully. Um, on the bottom, we have some more of those decoy projectors, another camera, and we have our torpedo launchers here on the bottom, as well as a bunch of cannons here, and we also have some more turrets on the bottom as well. So there's 7 of these large turrets in total. And then, yeah, so that's pretty much the outside. Let's go ahead and move inside. You'll notice also, actually, on the outside before we go in, you'll notice that the entirety of the outside is hydrogen powered on the thrusters. Now I've got a lot of hydrogen tanks in here, so there's plenty of hydrogen to last for quite a while. All right, so let's go ahead and move inside. We'll go ahead and go through this airlock over here. So just coming into this main room here, you'll notice that there's like this little room with the light that's flashing. This is like a buffer room. This room in particular is always meant to be depressurized, and it's kind of like a little foyer almost, just going into the main part of the ship. Uh, I have the airlock set up with timer blocks, so you'll be able to use it even if there's no uh, experimental mode on your server or whatever in your world or whatever you want to play. So you just press this button and it switches the airlock. The red indicator and the green indicator show whether or not the door is ready to open. When it turns green, then it's ready to go. So moving in, you'll see this side of the airlock is green. That one's red, so we can't open that one, but we can open this one. The interior here is meant to be pressurized. All right, moving back over here, we have This is kind of like the main area uh, right after the airlock. You'll notice this hallway that goes all the way down the ship. This is mirrored on both sides, so you have this long hallway to access multiple parts of the ship. Down here, you can see hydrogen storage, and directly below us is a little motor pool for ground vehicles. So, like if you are in a battle or whatever, you can deploy ground vehicles to the battlefield. It's a nice little, got some Jeeps. You can put whatever vehicles you want to in here. I even have like these pistons that are set up so you can move them up and down and move the connectors up and down to match whatever vehicle you want to put in here. It's kind of a nice little feature. Here I have Jeeps. I have four of these little motor pools, and the two here in the rear part of the ship are Jeeps, and then over on the front of the ship I have some tanks in there, and I'll show you those in a little bit, but let's continue the tour back here first before I go over there. So just over here we have a gunnery deck. Now say you're in the middle of a battle and this gunnery deck is for crew members to go in, and it has a bunch of control terminals and you can control turrets on the outside of the ship. The point of this is that I figure that people will, I designed the ship to be multi-crew, and I imagine that it would be a lot easier to control a ship this complex and this massive with a large crew complement that, controls all the turrets and stuff. Obviously, that might not be really feasible with the state of the game right now, but it's still kind of a cool idea, and I think it's the idea behind it that really matters. That door in the back there is really nothing. It's just gyroscope storage, so there's no reason to go back there. Got a few gyros here as well. As we move further into the ship, we'd see these signs everywhere that kind of lead us around. So going up, we go into the mess hall and the command bridge, and then if we go down, we go to that motor pool that we just saw, and the hangar floor is down there as well. So let's go ahead and go up. We'll go and see this mess hall here. So the mess hall I designed to be pretty open. I really like this open space. We got a little cafeteria here. We've also got this seating area over here with this restaurant. Now this one here, I kind of imagine this would be like soldiers can go, or sailors can go here and get a free meal. So they're provided with a free meal. They get whatever is on the menu, space squid surprise and other things. Got a nice little seating area here. If they get tired of eating space squid surprise, then I put in another little restaurant over here, and this is Flappy Burger. So, but this one you have to pay for. It's not a free meal. So this one over here, we have like this little bridge that goes across, and then we have a seating area here. It's just a nice little lounge. It's kind of nice. All right, moving on. We come back here to the back. We have a little corridor that comes back to the back here. This one kind of just wraps around and goes up the top there, but they both end up in the same place. So here's like the little back area. There's a little corridor here that goes to the ship hangar, and it's just a nice little corridor. I kind of imagine this to be a choke point. So like if you have boarders or whatever and they're trying to come down, then you can hide your little dude here and shoot out the guys who are trying to come in. Over here on the other side of the corridor from the mess hall, which is on the other side of that wall, we have our shipping hangar or shipping warehouse. Inside the shipping warehouse, we got a bunch of like magnetic shelves and stuff, so people can drop off cargo pods or whatever, and then you can just stack them on the shelves and lock them down. And it's a good way to move cargo in and out of the ship, I imagine, just like minor supplies and whatnot. Initially, I was going to use a forklift and have it drive around, but that ended up generating a lot of clang. So I made these little flying tugs that move cargo in and out. So you can take this tug and fly it down and, come out the door here and then go out into the hangar, which is behind that door there, and pick up the cargo and bring it back in. And I'll show you how that works in another video probably. Up here we have quartermaster's office. It's got a little door here because I imagine like some guy will be bringing like cargo or something up here, and it will be kind of heavy. So you want to open this door and just come in here, and you got a bunch of supplies and whatnot. And there's another little storage area back here in the back with a toilet just in case the quartermaster needs to take a shit or whatever. So come in here and you get your tools, you get your probably not weapons, we have another area for that, but tools, supplies, whatever you need. Yeah, so moving back to the back here, we have this area again. Now we come back and look over here. We have a sign that tells us where to go here. If we go up, we go to the command bridge, we go to cargo, we go to living quarters and intelligence. Going down, we have our engineering, armory, server room, and medical and cryogenics. So the server and armory is going to be on that side, medical and cryogenics will be on that side. And then the engineering, you can go either way to get there, but it's down there in the middle, and I'll show you that in a minute. Going this way, we have the server room and armory. So let's go ahead and look at the server room first. It's pretty much just programmable blocks and timer blocks. It's not all of them. Obviously, I have a lot of timer blocks on the ship. I have like over 200, and they're connecting or controlling different systems and whatnot. The programmable blocks, I haven't used all of them. There's 3 or 4 in this room itself, maybe 5 or 6, I don't know. But I've only used like 3 or 4 of them total on the entire ship, and I think there's like 26 of these on the entire ship. Most of them are just for decoration though, so they're not really anything. Moving this way, the armory, we have our little arms master up here, and he's like the guy that you go and check out a weapon or whatever, and he's like, okay, this is the rifle, and then say he's got his whole armory back here. You know, he's got weapons, he's got a little spacesuit thing if you need a new spacesuit, got a bunch of ammo. I haven't actually filled any of these shelves, but they're here, you know, kind of decoration or whatever. The arms master will sit here behind his counter and check out weapons and check them back in. Say you're coming here to check in your weapon, and the arms master's like, nope, it's not clean enough. You gotta clean it again. So you take it over to this table here, and you clean your weapon, and then you give it back to the arms master, and he inspects it again, and it looks good. So check that in. Below the arms master's office here, we have a little practice range. So you take your rifle down here, and you can shoot your target at the end. It works pretty well. The decoy or the dummies down there at the end they'll like if they break then they'll just respawn right away. Set them up, and then we have this thing here. Say like the ammo from the arms master is just for operations or whatever, and it doesn't want to give you any ammo. You can come down here if you need to practice your shooting, and purchase some ammo from this thing here. All right, you got a little table there if you need to set up your weapon, and then you got the little desks here so you can do the shooting range. All right, let's go to the other side now and look at the medical and cryogenics. So let's look at cryo first. It's kind of a basic room. It's not really a whole lot going on in here. Cryogenics is you know, you sit in one of these things and you sleep, whatever. I imagine though that there's not going to be the whole entire crew sleeping at all times, so I don't have enough space for all of the crew. You know, like I imagine this ship is going to be heavily crewed, like a lot of people are going to be on the ship. So, but you know, I also kind of imagine it's like when the Pillar of Autumn jumped away from Reach, and just the Master Chief was in cryostasis, and so he comes out of here and he, whatever. But so yeah, there's a cryo room. It's pretty simple. It's not a whole lot to it. Over here to medical, we have this little area down here. This is like a little clinic. You know, you get checked out or whatever. The doctor sits here and looks at you, and it's got a little waiting area. If you come here with your buddy or whatever, you can wait on the couch. Got a little medical lab here on the side, and this kind of just is with equipment and stuff. It's like I imagine it to be kind of a clean room. So you got to come in here with your bunny suit so you don't, ruin samples or whatever. Up above here now is the main medical stuff. So we got a little hallway that comes up and comes out over here, and then into the main medical area. Where this is like our intensive care unit where you'll bring the most damaged patients. They'll come in here. The doctor has this little station here and a little readout screen or whatever, so he can talk to you. And then over here we have like a toilet and the shower and the respawn point. This is where you're going to respawn when you come back to life. It's pretty interesting. Yeah, so moving on from here, let's go out this little door here. So we'll go down. You can go either side on this. You can go down into the engineering area. So you'll come down these stairs and come out into the engineering. And now you'll see that I have the older refinery skin on this. And that's, I tried the new one. I was building this before I had the new refinery skin that just came out with the Warfare 2 update. And I didn't have, and so I built it around this particular skin. And so the new one just isn't going to work with this build. We got a little safe zone here. I haven't really set that up yet. We got our jump drives, and then down these hallways here we have turret controllers. I don't actually have any of these being used right now because all of the turret blocks that I'm using, or the custom turrets, have their custom turret block on the actual turret itself. I have the control stations here. This one controls the safe zone. You can turn it off, turn it on, and it's pretty interesting. It's got a little readout here. This is using the M-Masters automatic LCD script to update various parts of the ship. We've got gravity generators here. The decoys one is for launching out the decoys that I mentioned up above. Then we got our safe zone status. Yeah, it's pretty cool. And then on the other side here, we have another control station. And this one tells you everything about the actual reactors. So these reactors are, they're large reactors, whatever, and it tells you how many ingots you have of uranium and the amount of power you have left, how much power is being used by the reactors currently, and if any of the reactors are damaged. All right, and then we've got these little desks on the side here, and I imagine there's going to be like engineers doing physics or whatever they do. All right, so, we got little parts and things down here on the bottom, and there's some lockers in the back there for repair if you need to repair something. So let's go back up over here, and I'll show you the rest of the ship here. So if we go up the stairs here, I'm just going to cut through the window here. Go up the stairs, we'll see that there is the command and control bridge here. Before I show you that, let's go to the back here. This is the cargo area. So the doors here are just on the either side. They're really close. It's all, kind of compact back here. So come in here, we got 2 by 8 on both sides. That makes 16. So you got 16 large cargo containers, and then a status readout from M Master's LCD script in the back there. I've stocked the ship with a lot of good stuff here in the back. So I could probably use a few more things, but anyway. It's pretty simple. You just go up these stairs here. You can access the cargo, do whatever you need. And then through here we have the command bridge. So we got these little bulwark thingies. That's what I call them, is bulwarks. And, so you can shoot through them or whatever if the ship is being invaded and, take out the invaders. Say the invaders, somehow manage to break through these defenders and get to the main door. They'd have to grind through it, I imagine, and try and get inside. And so inside of the bridge itself, we have the entire bridge is covered in a couple of layers of heavy armor, both top and bottom and sides. And so um, it's really well defended. Over here we have, this is like the main control console where the commander of the ship is going to stand. He's got his readouts. He's got a little terminal here so that he can display information. He's got some buttons here. So that he's got this red alert here. Let me just show you this real quick because it's kind of cool. That was kind of loud. Yeah, sorry about that. So you can turn on the red alert, mute it if you don't want to hear it all, and then cancel it if you just want to cancel it. And then this button here will deploy decoys. All right, moving through, we have um, readouts and stuff, and then so the commander will stand here and he's like calling out orders to the crew and whatnot. And the crew, we have the bridge crew that sits on these stations here on the side. So we've got a hangar control station that'll launch fighters, ship status station that tells what systems are damaged, but not all of them. It just tells you, like the really important ones. We've got weapons coordination station. This guy locks onto targets with the weapons and controls the weapons and where they fire and stuff. It's kind of like a secondary or maybe a primary station complement to the gunnery deck that I showed you down below. Obviously there's going to be people in the gunnery deck controlling specific weapons and whatnot, but this guy can like do the initial attack and make everything attack. Then we got a torpedo control station. This one's pretty complex, and I'll have to make a separate video about how to control this. This is the ship driver station. He'll just sit up here, and he's got his readouts over here on the front. And then over here we have communication station. This guy sends messages. This guy is the navigation station. He has waypoints for various important areas, and he's got control of the jump drives. And then this guy over here is the power control station. He can distribute power around different systems of the ship. So like if the jump drives are used, if we jump, then there's not enough power on the ship to restore all of the jump drives at the same time. So what we'll do is that we'll turn off half of the jump drives and let them recharge. And then once those are recharged, we'll turn the other half back on and let them recharge. And that's what this guy's doing. He's controlling the power distribution throughout the ship. This guy's logistics control. He's kind of useless. He just kind of looks at what we're low on and calls it out or whatever. I just needed an extra station. I didn't really know what to put here, so I put logistics control. Over here we have at the front of the hangar, or I mean at the front of the bridge. Sorry, we have our conference room. And this is where the captain sits with his officers, and they have a big conference, or maybe like other ship captains, and they'll have a big conference. And they got the little displays here in the middle. And this is my faction emblem that I use, and it looks out over the hangar. Now it's pretty cool. I'll show you guys the hangar in a minute. I'm going to show you a couple last things here in the back, and then we'll go to the hangar. So if we come over here to the side, we have our living quarters. This is where the crew lives. We got our bathrooms through this door here. It's, showers and whatnot. And then over through here we have um, the sleeping quarters. So this is where the enlisted personnel will sleep. It's a bunch of bunks and whatnot. This is how it kind of works on ships. I see pictures of enlisted sleeping on ships, and it's usually like 4 or 5 to a room, and they're kind of smashed in there, and they all have their bunks. But I decided to do like a more open layout with this one because I didn't want to, it takes more room to put them in each in separate rooms. So I just did stacked 3 layers of bunk beds, and kind of works. You have a switch here to turn off the lights when everyone's ready to sleep. We have personal storage lockers here. We got a little bathroom here if anyone needs to pee in the middle of the night or whatever. And then I imagine that every carrier has a large complement of Marines. So we got our Space Marine barracks here in the back. This is where the Space Marines sleep, and they have their little storage lockers back here too. It's pretty much the same as the enlisted sleeping quarters. You turn the lights on and off. And then over here, we have a stairway. This one goes down to the warehouse. And then through here, we have a little sitting room just in case. And then we have an officer's quarters here. And the officer's quarters is kind of nice. It's single rooms for officers or whatever. And you come to the back here. I'm just going to show you the ship captains. But there's a stairway that goes up at the end of the hall, and that has more quarters. So we've got our nice little seating area. We've got a television that we can watch. We got plants. We got this little screen here. We got a desk. This is for the captain. The captain's got to have his work desk. Lockers. We got a bed and toilet and shower. So yeah, it's pretty nice. Captain gets all the perks. So moving back here, we'll go ahead and go this way, back through the ship. And then we'll go to the other side here. Now the other side is pretty much intelligence. It's like military intelligence. So we got Marine Command, we got military intelligence, we have the brig, and we have the science wing. And so I'll show you all this stuff. So first off, I was going to mirror both sides of the ship. So this was going to be more sleeping quarters, and then decided it was a little excessive, and I wanted to make this into something else instead. So I used the space for all of this stuff. But the bathroom here on this side is exactly the same. And I figured that we would just leave it alone and let it be used for the people, like prisoners or whatever, who are in the brig, or if people need to come and, take a piss or whatever while they're doing their military intelligence stuff, then they can come down here and do that. So the corridor on this side, instead of sleeping quarters, we have intelligence here on the right, and we'll move through here. So the first thing we'll notice is that there's a bunch of desks here. Now I imagine there's going to be a bunch of like Navy spooks or whatever that are like trying to decode enemy messages, or look through personnel files, or whatever, figure out where the enemy's moving, and they'll move that back up to the bridge and command and stuff. So, and then over here we have interrogation rooms. Now these rooms work a lot like police interrogation rooms. So you got a desk here, you got a little guy standing on the side, like interrogating the prisoner or whatever, being like, "Where were you on the night of the 17th?" And whatever. And we got a two-way mirror here with observation, so you can kind of look inside and see. Just watch the interrogation. The way I did this was that I stacked these two. There's two window blocks here. You can't really see very well, but there's two window blocks here, and it makes it so that it's really mirrored on this side. You cannot see through this very well. You can kind of see through it a little bit, but not really well. Anyway, so there's two of these interrogation rooms. It's kind of cool. Okay, moving on from that, we have our military intelligence, or Marine Tactical Command is what I called it. So come through here. We got these stations here. These are for like squad coordination. You got the little lady in your ear when you're on your mission. This is where that lady will sit. Moving up here, we have our Marine Commander. He's going to be standing here. He's got his readouts. We got a little like Marine squads. I just kind of made up a bunch of names and put them on here. And then armored unit and dropship squadrons. And then we have our just a little timer here. We got our faction emblem up there, and then we have operation status right here. All right. So it's just kind of a little room where Marines can go and coordinate with for their command and whatnot. Okay, moving back here, we have across the hallway, we've got our science laboratory. This is where the scientists are going to sit. Now, a big carrier like this in space, I imagine you're going to run into things that you don't really know what the hell that is. So the scientists need to be here to do their science thing and figure stuff out. There's a bunch of equipment and stuff. They got lab work. You got an office that we've just passed in the front there. We've got our lockers here, and then back in the back here we have a clean room. And so don't enter here without your bunny suit or whatever. You got some expensive equipment. You got a little, I don't know what this is. It's like a rotor piece, but I'm gonna pretend it's like some kind of advanced equipment. And then you got a desk in here to do some work. All right, so there's nothing really to that. It's kind of all just decorative. And if you want to role play a scientist, then I guess you can do that too. Okay, moving back down, we have our go down these stairs here on the side. These stairs are so you don't have to go through the Marine command in order to get up to the science lab. But moving around the side here, these stairs go down to the mess hall. And then here we have the brig. This is Detainment. We got our little turret here and a defense point in case someone's trying to board the ship to free their buddies. We got a little guard station here so you can be like, yo, got another idiot, huh? Put him in cell block number 7. And so you got a whole bunch of cells here. Cells are pretty simple. They just have a bed and a bathroom. All right, there's nothing really to it. There's 2 levels. Yeah, it's pretty simple. Okay, moving out of Detainment. We'll just go ahead and go back down this way. Okay, so here's our mess hall again. We're going to go down these stairs here. Actually, let's go through this wall over here. Just going to go through the wall. Okay, so here's our main corridor again, the one that I showed you before. We're going to go through here and look at the hangar now. So the hangar is kind of split into 3 different parts. This first part here is like an industrial hangar. These guys are cargo skiffs, and they're used for moving cargo on and off the station. It's got a little defense so that, if you're flying around or whatever, then you can defend yourself. They got atmospheric and space flight. You got a little thruster here so you can get into space again. Yeah, it's all pretty convenient. Up here on the sides, we have a little room on either side of the hangar. This is air traffic control. So these guys are also capable of launching fighters. They have a little layout to show what's in the hangar, and they have a control station so they can open fighter launch bays, which are those bays right there, and we'll have a look at those in a second. Okay, so moving through here, we have yeah, so there's one of those on each side, and then down here in this little room, it's just kind of like a way to get down into the main corridor that goes up and down the ship. All right, up here we have doors to get up to the fighters. So you can get into your fighter seat, then you press the little button, or you contact the station or the air traffic control, and they activate your launch sequence, and you fly out in the ship. All right. In between the fighter tubes, we have these landing pads. So we have 4 dropship landing pads, and on the bottom we have 4 gunship landing pads. Now these are like heavy fighters. They have a lot of damage potential. They're really powerful ships that can do a lot of damage. The dropships themselves are really cool. I didn't actually design these. These were designed by, I think his name is Venom416, if I remember correctly. And I found these on the workshop. They're really cool. I really like how they work. You got 6 seats here. I think they were designed before most things. And I also put this little locking mechanism on here. Used to be a connector, but I put this locking thing on here because you want to be able to move vehicles and whatnot in and out of the ship. So I have that on there. I colored it myself. I kind of took over the thing, and I put one of these defensive turrets on here, the new Warfare 2 blocks. Yeah, so this is the main part of the hangar where you'll see a bunch of, this kind of stuff. That's our entry point for the hangar, is down there, and then that's the exit point for the hangar. And I have that all set up with sensors and timers, so if you approach it with a large ship or a small ship, it'll automatically open and close. All right, up at the front of the hangar here, we have our ship printer. This is for if you get damaged or whatever. So here we have a bunch, just like a hallway to come in and out of it. And up here we have the actual control station for the ship printer. Down below we have the welders, obviously, and so you have this little cube here, and it's a merge block. The merge block on the lower part will weld up and then connect to the ship that you're trying to weld. So you have to weld that off after the thing is done. This arm here will move up, and as it moves up, it welds the construction. All right, I've set this up to be kind of cool. Let me show you how this works. So you press a button, and then a little display comes up to show you like a preview of what you want to build here. And then you press the big red button here to start. And I'm not going to do that right now, but you can also press this little yellow button here to cancel the build. So it's important not to do that while the build is building, or else you'll kind of mess things up. So don't cancel in the middle of a build, but otherwise go crazy. It's kind of fun. All right, we'll go ahead and go out here now. So down below the hangar, we saw the vehicle bay in the back there, but we also have some tanks here. You're welcome to go ahead and put your own vehicles here. Like I mentioned, you can put your own tanks or whatever. And then we got a stairway that goes up to the front part of the ship. But before we go and see that, the corridor that comes along the side of the ship printer here is comes out into the industrial area. So we're going to have a look at the industrial area here. So we come out here. On the other side of the ship printer, we have our food production. Now, I really just needed to fill these rooms with something, and I didn't really know what to do. So I figured, like, what if the supercarrier is lost in space somewhere and they need to produce some food? Well, here's some grow labs so you can make some veggies for the crew and keep them sailing and happy. All right, coming back here, we have our industrial area. This industrial area has a bunch of refineries and assemblers. This is mirrored on both sides of the ship, so you have two assembly or two industrial rooms just like this. You got a little control terminal here, so the engineer who's running the industrial station can, control, see how many parts are needed or whatever. I really like these advanced or these industrial assembler blocks because they have these little parts here where you can move about. And I just happen to make this into a balcony where you can look over the main corridor that comes up and down here. So moving on from this, we have at the front of the ship, let's just go down over here. We have our side hangars that I mentioned at the beginning of the video. This is our mining ship hangar. You come in here and you got your mining ships. They're just laid out here pretty perfectly. Um, yeah, you press the button to open it and it'll open the door that you want and then fly out. It doesn't have a timer or a sensor to sense when you are leaving, but it does have one to sense when you come back, and that's what this sensor is. And it'll automatically sense that you're back and let you in to the hangar. It'll just open all three of them. Figured it was just simple to do it that way. So this side has mining ships, that side has welders and grinders, and those are for like maintenance of their main ship. And then through here we have another staircase that comes up. Now this will go up. This is, through here is industrial again. Over here is a maintenance corridor. This is all filled with timers and stuff, so you don't really need to look in there if you don't want to. Over here we have the airlock, the front airlock that comes out over here, and it'll just come right through and then come out of the ship. This is the docking area that I mentioned before. So yeah, it's pretty nice. Moving up, we have our public market. All right, so if we come up here, then this is kind of like a public market area. If you like dock a civilian ship or whatever, they can come and use the market of the supercarrier and buy whatever they need. They have a little bar here so they can service the civilians. They have a nice little seating area, vending machine, some advertisements. Up here we got a little seating area. I imagine there's like a diplomat area that diplomats can come and chill here too or whatever. I don't know. I bet the crew could come here and have a little party also. We got a little jukebox here. We got seating area. We've got the store block. The store block and the contracts here on the other side are connected to the conveyor system. I haven't really set these up yet, but I'll probably do that before I publish. And then over here we have, yeah, so it's kind of mirrored on both sides, just a nice little area. And then the last thing I wanted to show you was the observation deck. So, you'll notice that a lot of this ship is just covered in armor. It's all just armor. There's not really any windows except for here on the observation deck, and even then it's not very much, but that's okay. So on the observation deck, I really wanted this to be like, okay, well, people want to look outside, they can look outside. So you have one on each side of the ship. You have a nice little window here. Now, the reason I didn't put any windows on the ship is because it's a warship, and I don't really believe in having windows that can be shot through on a ship that's going to be shot. It's going to be shot. That's all there is to it. So, all of the systems on the ship are, they're very protected through under armor layers and stuff. But this part of the ship here is it's whatever. It's just a docking port, really, is all it is. So, figured that having a window here is not going to be a big deal. So, yeah. Yeah, this is it. This is all that I really wanted to show you guys. Thanks so much for coming and viewing my ship. Thanks for downloading it if you have. Let me know what you think about it. I'm really curious. And guess I'll see you around.